resolutions reached with the federal government. ASUU has been on strike since March this year over demands for more funding for public universities and renegotiation of the 2019 agreement with the federal government. An integrated gas handling facility as well as liquefied petroleum gas storage and dispensing plants have been inaugurated in Nigeria. The gesture is in furtherance of the Buhari administration's gas utilization agenda aimed at ensuring effective utilization and monetization of the nation's gas resources. The Waste to Wealth facility situated at Oredo, Edo State is to, amongst other things, support efforts at eliminating flare gas and process over 200 million standard cubic feet of lean gas to the domestic market per day. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony virtually, described the epoch-making event as promise delivered. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has reports.
At the turn of the year 2020, this administration made solemn declarations to the Nigerian public.
The promise was to expand the gas sector footprints by scaling up the development and utilization of Nigeria's abundant natural gas resources. This is to, amongst others, help to spur industrialization, provide clean and efficient energy for transportation and household use, as well as increase the nation's exports into the international market. And on this backdrop, 2020 was embodied Nigeria's year of gas.
Since then, we have followed through with actions that have translated those plans into tangible projects with monumental value additions to the Nigerian economy. I commend the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation for completing this project that is surely supportive of this administration's drive to bring prosperity and comfort to the Nigerian people. The integrated gas handling facility project will also support the ongoing drive towards providing alternative auto fuel under the Natural Gas Expansion Program initiative.
Apart from being the largest onshore liquefied petroleum gas plant in Nigeria, with the potential of supplying about 20% of Nigeria's liquefied petroleum gas demand, the Oredo Integrated Gas Handling Facility will be delivering 240,000 metric tons of commercial-grade liquefied petroleum gas and propane.
In addition to its import institution benefits, that brings us a step closer to self-sufficiency in liquefied petroleum gas production and also supporting the growth of small and medium enterprises in the host communities. This project will create hundreds of direct and indirect employment opportunities for our teeming youth, both skilled and unskilled.
President Buhari also takes pride in the accomplishments of key gas infrastructure projects like the Obiafu, Obrikon-Oben, OB3 and Escravos Lagos Pipeline System 2, as well as the flag-off of the construction of the 614-kilometer Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline project. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In the meantime, Nigeria has promised to give robust support to the Republic of Niger as the neighboring country prepares for presidential and National Assembly elections later this month. President Muhammadu Buhari made the promise while receiving in audience former Vice President Namadi Sambo, who heads ECOWAS election mission to the West African nation. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the president also granted audience to former President Goodluck Jonathan on the political situation in the Gambia.
Still basking in the euphoria of the successes achieved by the ECOWAS in addressing the socio-political situation in the Republic of Mali, former President Goodluck Jonathan, who is the special envoy and mediator of the sub-regional organization to the West African nation, is here for talks with President Muhammadu Buhari.
Mr. President,
The talks were, however, not on Mali, but the political situation in the Gambia, where incumbent President Adama Barrow, who visited President Muhammadu Buhari early this month, is seeking re-election. Dr. Goodluck Jonathan's engagement with President Muhammadu Buhari lasted about 30 minutes, after which he spoke to NTA News.
The president of the Gambia invited us to participate in a little political stalemate bordering on a new constitution. And that I was asked as an extension of the job I've already been doing at the instance of the president and other ECOWAS heads of state. So I came back last night and I will finish our first set of discussions. We'll continue in January. So I just come to brief Mr. President about that because we need to know details about the issues. We are progressing, but we have not concluded. But we are hopeful that we'll conclude it properly.
What have been the challenges?
It's human. Political. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Similarly, former Vice President Muhammad Namadi Sambo briefed President Muhammadu Buhari on his election mission to the Republic of Niger on the mandate of ECOWAS. He said strategic meetings are already being held with relevant stakeholders. ECOWAS, the former Vice President, promised would ensure peaceful and fair elections in the West African nation despite the current political, legal and security issues. President Muhammadu Buhari applauded the Nigerian leader Muhammadu Isufu for not attempting to tamper with the constitution of his country and elongate his stay in power after serving for the maximum 2 terms. He described the president of Niger, whom he is regularly in touch, as quite decent. Nigeria and Niger share more than 1,400 kilometers of land border, which President Muhammadu Buhari said can only be supervised effectively by God. The president, however, promised to remain focused, committed, and supportive of all genuine efforts at stabilizing the Sahel region in the best interest of the 2 countries and indeed West Africa. During the meeting, the former vice president congratulated President Buhari on the successful return of the abducted Kankara schoolboys in Katsina State, as well as his 78th birthday. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And sequel to the new surge in the number of coronavirus cases across the country, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the extension of the mandate of Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 till the end of March next year. Receiving the end-of-year reports of the task force on the national response to the global pandemic, the President said the new epicenter, now identified, Nigeria cannot afford to lose the gains achieved in the last 9 months.
The end-of-year report submitted by the chairman of the PTF and secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, highlights the challenges encountered in the national response to COVID-19 and lessons learned. These include the urgent need for a dedicated fund to address all pandemics and outbreaks, major reform of the health sector, enhancing the economic sustainability drive, as well as the recovery and preservation of lives and livelihoods.
Mr. President, the year 2020 has been very significant to humanity. As we approach 2021, therefore, the Presidential Task Force is recalibrating to enable it to respond to a more effective manner to the new dynamics thrown up by the pandemic as a result of the new wave of infections and the arrival of vaccines. This is work in progress, and all members would want to assure you and wish to restate that they are more determined and rededicated to ensure that we overcome this pandemic and return our country and our people to normalcy.
The next year will be all about the COVID-19 vaccine. This will be a huge logistic challenge for the country, and Mr. President will require your leadership and continued commitment. All hands must be on deck to deliver and overcome the challenges of securing the supply of safe and effective vaccines, logistics, and even more importantly, public acceptance of the vaccine.
President Muhammadu Buhari said Nigeria is clearly in a perilous situation given the virulent nature of this second wave of the coronavirus pandemic, and therefore decisive actions must be taken to protect the people.
That the PTF should coordinate the process for planning and the strategy for assessing, delivery, and administration of the vaccines in a safe, effective, and timely manner. This is an important obligation that we owe Nigerians as we go into the year 2021, and it must be carried out through an efficient machinery.
The PTF has also been directed to engage with states for them to assume full ownership of this stage of the response by deploying legal structures and resources, including enforcement, to manage the pandemic within their jurisdictions.
I have authorized the PTF and the Nigerian Immigration Service to ensure that all inbound passengers who failed to show up for post-arrival coronavirus tests are sanctioned within the ambit of the law for breaching the public health protocols.
As the President insists, now is the time for collective efforts to be intensified, and therefore urge all subnational entities, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and leaders of thought to collaborate with the PTF by taking up the responsibility for risk communication and community engagement at all levels.
It must be emphasized that this administration recognizes that an effective and efficient health sector represents a significant component of our security and economic strategy.
And as the festive season approaches, President Muhammadu Buhari made a case for all Nigerians to remain vigilant and stay safe. Non-essential trips and large gatherings, he emphasized, should be avoided or shelved completely. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
All right, this news at 10 is reaching you live on NTA News 24. Still ahead. Enforcement of COVID-19 safety protocol compliance begins in Abuja. This is NTA News 24 broadcasting from Abuja. You can watch us anywhere, anytime on the following platforms.
Start times, channel 101, TV channel 703, STV channel 419, TV channel 436.
For more information, log on to our website www.nta.ng or join us on our social media handles, Twitter at NTA News 24, Facebook at NTA News 24.
For comments, suggestions and inquiries, send an email to news24@nta.gov.ng or call us on the following numbers. NTA News 24, news and more news.
I'd glad to have you back on the news now. Some 999 new cases of COVID-19 has been announced by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, and these new cases increase the total number of confirmed cases to 79,789 in the country. Of these 999 new infections, the FCT recorded the highest of 416. Lagos has 324, Kaduna 68. Plateau recorded 42, while Kwara has 32, Kano 24, Gombe has 14, Sokoto and Yobe has 12 each, Akwa Ibom 11, Bayelsa 10, Rivers and Bauchi states recorded 7 new cases each, Ogun has 6, Oyo 5, Edo and Taraba confirmed 4 each, while Jigawa recorded 1 new case. On total number of cases per state, Lagos is leading with a confirmed 27,091 cases, followed by the FCT with 10,122 cases. Kaduna comes third with 4,628, followed by the Plateau with 4,304 COVID-19 cases. There are currently some 9,679 active cases being managed across the country, with 68,879 recovered patients discharged, with an unfortunate 1,231 deaths on record. The Federal Capital Territory Ministerial Task Force has commenced enforcement on COVID-19 safety protocol compliance in Abuja. FCT Commissioner of Police Bala Chiroma led the enforcement team on the first day of the exercise. Shuaibu Nozeyako reports.
Now your permission to come with the question.
Yes, you can immediately commence
That permission granted by the FCT Police Commissioner Bala Chiroma signals the commencement of COVID-19 enforcement on safety protocol compliance. The task team, with membership drawn from the various security agencies, swung into action. Wuse Market, Baja Roundabout and Barnes Plaza were visited, where the team sensitized residents on the need to wear face masks while in public places. Vehicles were impounded, while motorists and other residents not wearing face masks were arrested.
We've accosted a lot of people not complying with the COVID protocols. There is a lot of overloading in public transportation. There is no use of the face mask by individuals. If we were to succeed in our efforts to contain the spread of this disease, all hands must be on deck.
All the arrested violators were pardoned and impounded vehicles released to their owners on the first day of the enforcement.
We want people to comply to COVID-19 protocols. That's why you see the ones we arrested today. From what I gathered, there are about 10 vehicles, some from outside the FCT, some from high-level government offices that we are also impounded, some about 10 vehicles impounded, and about 20 persons arrested. We could not go further to actually prosecute them today. We allowed them to go, granting them mercy as a first-time offender.
The exercise will be sustained to ensure residents adhere to the health guidelines on COVID-19. Shuaibu Onozeakubu, NTA News.
Right, you may have noticed crowds around offices of the National Identity Management Commission in recent days. Why is this so, and what is being done about it? Victor Azu was at the NIMC headquarters to find out.
This is a new phase of most National Identity Management Commission NIMC offices across the country since the federal government ordered telecommunications companies to disconnect all phone lines not identified with a national identity number NIN. The crowd here at the Commission's headquarters wouldn't even allow the NTA crew access through the main gate.
For these ones right here behind me, the desperation to keep their lines open and working supersedes fear of contracting the unrelenting COVID-19.
The crowd is too much. The federal government is supposed to look into it, at least to show us how to maintain the line or how to get our national ID card. It has been long that I'm here.
For the past 3 years, I've enrolled for the national ID, and tonight has not come out.
At the back gate, we met a smaller crowd, but the complaints remained.
They asked us to follow line, but they now open another door at the back, collecting people, which people are gathering there more than 6 hours.
We then went up to get an explanation. It would seem that previous deadlines for NIN registration were not heeded, hence the crowds.
The first group of people is me and you that already have NIN, and then we have multiple SIMs. We should take care of these things. You don't need to panic, you don't need to do anything. But if you have SIM and you don't have NIN, then that is where we have problems, that you need to be registered. And those are the people that you have seen.
The NIMC DG, however, promises that there will be more centers to aid registration in the new year.
By early next year, when you go to the telco centers, you will be able to enroll and get your NIN. If you go to immigration, you will be able to enroll there and get your NIN. If you go to Federal Road Safety Corporation, you will be able to enroll and get your NIN. The same thing with the pension, PFS, and also the banks. And then there will be private sector people that will be going to the markets, going to the schools, going to mosques and churches to also enroll people. You will see a lot of vans that are moving around to also enroll people. That all this is going to happen next year because the funding will have been available.
The 3-week extension notwithstanding, it's only a matter of time before that also elapses. For now, Nigerians need to be more interested, and those who are saddled with the responsibility of getting these connections done need to be more proactive. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
Now, the inauguration of Oedo Integrated Gas Handling Facility, IGHF, and the LPG processing and dispensing plants, just days to the end of the year 2020, experts say, highlights President Muhammadu Buhari's genuine determination to deliver on his promises, even in the face of daunting challenges, particularly those posed by the coronavirus pandemic. Lydia Sampson reports.
This undiluted joy is no doubt born out of the conviction that the gas handling facility sited in their community is coming with windows of opportunities. These opportunities are expected to empower them through employment and gainful means of livelihood. The sentiments are also shared by key players.
In the period of COVID, we are able to complete this project and launch this project. This will open up the LPG market for the domestic market, and I think this is a remarkable enabler for economic development.
This flow station gives us the opportunity, Nigerians opportunity, to have alternative energy.
Well, gas is more important even than crude oil. All over the world, not only in Nigeria. So this is a great feat.
Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, commended NNPC for spearheading the elimination of gas flaring and increasing Nigeria's value realization from her huge gas endowments.
The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has made unprecedented strides in the area of gas infrastructure development that will facilitate exploitation and monetization of Nigeria's massive gas resources.
For Mele Kyari, GMD NNPC, it is all about government's resolve towards growing its participation in the LPG value chain to boost domestic supply, lower prices, and deepen LPG penetration.
Everyone listening to me may be surprised or may be astonished to know that this project was designed, constructed and delivered with the highest application of Nigerian content for the critical projects of this magnitude. And indeed, our contractor is wholly Nigerian contractor. This demonstrates, Mr. President, the capability of Nigerians in handling technologically complex projects while reducing pressure on nations' constrained foreign exchange resources.
Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki, on behalf of the people of Edo State, committed to peace and to enable the facility to operate for the good of Nigerians.
The Edo State government, the Edo people, and I'm sure the people of Olobo have decided to embrace Nigeria's gas policy.
Through the integrated gas handling facility of the MPDC, Nigeria is expected to have more gas to generate power. And considering that upgrades in electricity is synonymous with boost in economic activities, many here are optimistic that indeed this gas facility will be a game changer. From Olobo in Edo State, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Lydia. And time now to talk business, and Comfort Amadu is our guide.
Track the funds that have been stocked out of the country.
from the creation of systemic mechanism like Treasury Single Account and the Integrated Personnel Payroll Information System, IPPIS, to whistleblower policy and more to ensure accountability, transparency, and adequate financial appropriation of public funds, government has been exploring numerous mechanisms to prune the rising costs and waste in government. The reality of the new normal has also made it critical for government to review the cost of governance to block leakages, looting, and illicit financial flows to prevent the economy from further shocks. The need to develop firm policies and mechanisms to curtail cost of governance and corruption took center stage during a virtual conversation by key players put together by the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, PACAC.
What should be the greater priority? Is it to develop society through education, through healthcare, through housing, through economic development? We need to understand that we cannot have security, we cannot have peace in this country where our policies are not geared towards the welfare of citizens.
E-governance therefore remains the best in encouraging transparency and accountability and reducing costs and waste and corruption in government business, and should be adopted across all the arms and tiers of government in Nigeria.
So we're looking at expanding the mandate of the Public Complaints Commission to call it the Public Interest Disclosure and Complaints Commission, and that would require amending the Constitution. Witness protection is also there.
Cutting the cost of governance will definitely stabilize our country. And by the time we become futuristic, the possibility is everybody will know that nobody is taking undue advantage of the system.
We now head to the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange to see the value of stocks and shares the exchange hands at the end of the trading session. With business news, Comfort Amodu.
All right, this news at 10 is reaching you on NTA News 24. Still ahead. Nigerian Army extends exercise Sahel. Stay with us.
A settlement is a community in which people live. It can range in size from a small number of dwellings grouped together to the largest of cities with surrounding urbanized areas. Settlements may include hamlets, villages, towns, and cities. A settlement may have known historical properties such as the date or era in which it was first settled by a people. In Africa today, many ancient settlements remain significant in the lives of a people for historical purposes and in today's world as places of tourism importance. Ratayagiwa Hills are an array of hills which cover a wide area and situated in Rijau local government area, Niger State, north-central Nigeria. It is the settlement area of Sanda, the founder of the town Rijau and his people, and of Dukawa tribe. Before Sanda and his people moved up the Ratayagiwa Hills to fully settle, they first settled at a place called Tukurgog, now called Tungan Anini, a few kilometers from the present-day Rijau town. Therefore, Tukurgog was the first settlement of the Dukawas who migrated through Katsina axis. When threats of wars became imminent, Sanda and his people moved up the mountain, which is today termed the Ratayagiwa Hills, a place he had since discovered during his hunting expedition. At Tukurgog, Sanda lived with his people who included Konjok, whose family were in charge of houses, Gajem, that is the family of Galadima, Magaji, and Paar, whose family were the blacksmiths, amongst others. One point of historical and virtually of tourism significance east of Tukurgog is a stone called Taru Adama. It was the point where members of the palace family lived. Just before the stone, there is a point where two footpaths meet. It was where the people of Sanda met when they carried a corpse of a dead person who died of unusual circumstances and would not be buried on the Ratayagiwa Hill.
One interesting thing about them is, should somebody die in any of these villages, they had to pass through Tukurgog again to come and bury this person here in their old ancestral home, which is what the house has called Kango. This is the Kango of the Dukawa people, the Kwako, to be precise. Then, should somebody die of snake bite, or a woman who had conceived and in the process of labor, she died, she is not buried here. She is buried in Tukurgog. But if somebody dies a natural death, that person is not buried in Tukurgog. He or she is brought to the old traditional city, the old historical city, and is buried.
The name Ratayagiwa, which means someone who hangs elephants in English language, is synonymous to Sanda, the founder of Rijau and the traditional head of the Dukawas. He was first referred to as such by his friend Sambo, a Fulani cattle rearer who came around the hills to rear his cattle and found that there were signs of human existence on the hills, signified by smoke from fire on the hill. Sanda was indeed a great hunter who hunted elephants and buffaloes, among other animals.
But by the time Sanda himself now shot an elephant, that is Giwa, Sambo was in a distance watching what Sanda was doing. Then Sanda is described as a huge giant. After killing this Giwa, this elephant, he took this elephant and now to his shoulders. Then Sambo now approached Sanda and said, very important, Kai bawan Allah nan ka Ratayagiwa. That is where that name, Ratayagiwa, came from. Each time Sambo wants to send any of his children to Sanda, he says, Kuje inda Ratayagiwa, wannan mutum da ya Ratayagiwa, referring to Sanda. So the name became an official name for that man who is Sanda and now bearing Ratayagiwa because he was described as a great hunter, a giant, and at the same time, the king of the Tukawa people. Because legitimately, his father was the person who instituted the traditional kingship institution in Tukurugok until they left there to this area. Are you getting it? So that was how the name Ratayagiwa now came to stay.
No wonder Dukawas inherited the hunting prowess of their forefather, a trait they still hold in high esteem. Hunters in the Dukawa tradition are recognized and honored on account of the kinds of animals they are able to hunt.
I know there are some animals that can kill, but definitely our people don't fear it. When they go to the bush, before going to the bush, they will prepare. We apply this our traditional medicine and other things to see that even if sometimes when we are at their own mix, some of our hunters disappear. And there is this elephant. Sometimes if you shoot it, it will make sure that wherever you are, they will struggle to get you. If you can't get it, it will kill you there. And that's why sometimes our people need to prepare. Before shooting it, you have to be sure of yourself. Like the other head that I show you. We have Bauna there, we have Gwenki there. So therefore our people, they are always out for it because it is this one that will make your name to be pronounced as a hunter. If you didn't kill any of this one, even if they are beating the traditional drum of the hunters, you cannot go into the field and dance.
The Ratayagiwa Hill, as it is today, houses some historical places of tourism significance. For example, a tourist has an opportunity of seeing the stones on which Sanda and Sambo, his friend, sat whenever Sambo visited Sanda, whom he nicknamed Ratayagiwa. Ratayagiwa would sit on a stone high up, while Sambo sat on a stone just below him. They would have their conversation, after which Sambo would leave through the usual route he came. Their friendship continued until they went to meet Othman and Fodio, who gave Sanda sword as symbol of authority as the traditional head of the Dukawas, and Sambo was given the Islamic flag, being a Muslim. Traditionally, up the Ratayagiwa hill, Sanda, his people and his descendants who lived on the hill had a shrine where they carried out their traditional worship. The shrine is still there for visitors and tourists to view. Myth has it that even today, the collection of stones which served as the prayer point cannot be kept away from their original positions. It was attempted in recent times, and those who picked some of the stones and took them down the Ratayagiwa hill had to return them due to the discomfort they experienced. Sanda and his people did move to settle on top of the hill in consideration of their security during wars at that time. Up the Ratayagiwa hill, they were at a vantage point to spot any adversary approaching. Aside that, we were shown the point of the cave where women, children, and the weak were hidden once there were wars, leaving the warriors to defend the entire territory. Security, no doubt, is of great importance at all times.
During the war times, this was the opening of the cave, where the people who would not participate in the battle entered. The cave would open after prayers are said, with a plea to the stone covering the cave to open. Once it opened, the whole people would enter, leaving the warriors to defend the territory.
Sarki dai na nan abin shi sama tare da sauran jaruman shi, amma duk mutanen gari hakan yi haka ne su buya, amma jarumai suna nan a sama suna kallon dukkan inda abokan gaba za su fito. To wannan dukin nan ne ake shiga, shi ake kira fa baba yaro.
Our exploration also reveals that even in ancient times, when they lived on the Ratayagiwa hills, the and judicial systems. This baobab tree and its surroundings served as the legislative assembly where elders met and deliberated on issues of general interest and passed resolution which would be conveyed to the traditional head at that time for approval and onward implementation. The Elders' Assembly still functions in present day when some cultural issues are to be deliberated upon. For punishing offenders, there existed on the Ratayagiwa hill a prison which was used to detain major offenders. Our guide took us to the point which served as the prison area.
This baobab tree you are seeing was the point where the house of the prison guard was. When people were arrested, they were brought and gathered at this point. At that time, once someone was asked to come up this way, he began to shiver because only offenders and their keepers came this way. As such, whoever was asked to come up this way knew he had offended.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
Also of tourism significance is the hut which Sanda himself used as his sitting room. It was also used by subsequent Dukawa rulers who lived on the Ratayagiwa hills. The name of the town Rijau has its trace to Ratayagiwa hills. Ratayagiwa hill remains of great significance to all Dukawas, and its historical importance needs to be kept alive.
When we talk of the Ratayagiwa hill, historically, every Dukawa by tribe is proud of that place because it is the first hill for the settlers of Dukawa that anybody, any tribe that you think is living within the regional local government, he made that hill. And he made Dukawa of Ratayagiwa in that place, followed by that of Kiroho. Even when the missionary came to the job, some of them visited the area. And they are very, very interested to see the way they can even modernize the place themselves. But now it is my own time. So I want to use this opportunity to see what I can do so that those places, Ratayagiwa, Kiroho, including Sanjir, will be able to know that the way we can develop the place to be a tourism area, inshallah. Therefore, with this opportunity, I think I am appealing to our Niger State government. If we are in the process of doing that, I'm sure they will make their own contribution.
The grave of Sanda, fondly called Ratayagiwa, and other Dukawa chiefs who lived and died on the hill are still visible for a tourist or visitor to see, but need to be maintained. Ratayagiwa Hill is so elaborate in expense that Ratayagiwa himself, his people, and subsequent generations of traditional Dukawas who lived on the hill never had any problem living there at all. The security concern, which was the main consideration, was aptly achieved. As such, in history, the Dukawas of Rijau and its environs were never conquered in any war. Today, the few families up the hill who still practice traditional religion enjoy better fresh air, being high up, and life for them is enjoyable. During reign of Sanda at Ratayagiwa Hill, the need arose for expansion of territory. In this regard, the story of Ratayagiwa Hill will not be complete without talking about the Kiroho Hill.
To start with, and very fast, Kiroho simply means sun, like it were in the days of old, during Golmo. So the Kiroho and Ratayagiwa people were in one of their suitors' farm. So while they were farming, they just discovered that the sun was not moving. And the idea was, whoever tied the sun, the idea was for them to farm a very big portion of land. So when they discovered that the sun was not moving, they now turned behind and looked at the old man and said, Ekag Kirho, meaning they have tied the sun. Ekag Kirho, they have tied the sun. That was where the name Kirho came from. And Kirho means a town and at the same time a people. And the people in question are referred to as Kirhone, while the town is Kiroho. And like you rightly said, they are extraction from Ratayagiwa Hills. And the first person who settled here, his name is Magajiguntu from Ratayagiwa Hills. Then you later have other visitors coming.
The settlement of Magajiguntu and his people reflects the expansion of territory, authority, and the guarantee of security. As Magajiguntu and his followers watched over Ratayagiwa's territory, stability of government was better achieved. In today's Dukawa's culture, the lineages of some traditional title holders have their roots traced to their settlements on the Kiroho Hill. The family of Magaji, meaning the inheritor, have the remains of their ancestral homes on the Kiroho Hill, with some of them being rebuilt to keep the history alive. You will find even today the custodians of the Dukawa culture living on the Kiroho Hill. You have the overall head, who is the chief priest known as Sarkin Safi. The Sarkin Safi is saddled with the responsibility of counting and ascertaining the accurate date of the annual Dukawa Cultural Festival, the Reng. He does that with the permission of the village head of Ratayagiwa. other assistants of the Serkin Safi, as custodians of the Dukawa culture, are the Magiros. They are the custodians of the Dukawa culture and followers of traditional religion. Typical Dukawas, as descendants of Ratayagiwa, apart from being great hunters, are also farmers. They also engage in petty trading, with some of them cattle rearers. The friendship which existed between Ratayagiwa and Sambo, the cattle rearer, resulted in some Dukawas influenced into rearing cattle. Presently, numerous villages of Dukawas are spread, with village heads being the traditional heads. The fact remains that villages such as Ratayagiwa, Kirho, Sanjir, Uddu, Zarangi, among many others across Rijau local government area, are descendants of Sanda, the Ratayagiwa himself, with their ancient ancestral settlement traced to Ratayagiwa Hills. The development of tourism potentials of the Ratayagiwa Hills would mean additional opening for development of tourism in Nigeria. This ancestral home of the Dukawas in Rijau local government area of Niger State could rate as one of the major historical cities in Nigeria if fully developed. Our tourism potentials need to be fully harnessed, and Ratayagiwa Hill is begging for attention.
Welcome. This is Bon Appetit, a culinary adventure. All of them are quite different and unique, especially when it comes to native foods and cultural delicacies. Their food mainly depends on the ingredients that are produced in that particular area.
Let's be friends. This is our history, your history. We're proud of our heritage. There's no more misery. Let's live in unity. No more war, we are one. let's be friends. Been a long time fighting ourselves.
I am Elizabeth Abai. I am here to talk about facts. There is so much misinformation and distortion out there, especially on the social media. All it takes is just a click and the fake news goes viral. However, here in NTA, we deal with facts.
My job is to go out there and comb for factual news and information, just the way it is, all in the interest of the nation. I'm Naja'atu Tijani.
Here on the NTA, we present only the facts, verified. Beware of fake news, don't be a victim. Stay tuned to the NTA.
Especially at this time of the coronavirus pandemic.
My name is Nnamdi Ojibo.
To Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
Welcome. This is Bon Appetit, a culinary adventure. All of them are quite different and unique, especially when it comes to native foods and cultural delicacies. Their food mainly depends on the ingredients that are produced in that particular area.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the update at 11. I'm Chimobi Walter Naji. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has conditionally suspended its 9-month strike. President of the union, Professor Biodun Oguyemi, who led other National Executive Committee of the union, made this known in a media briefing at the University of Abuja, Gwagwalada. Biodun Oguyemi said the suspension takes effect from today's midnight and was as a result of resolution reached with the federal government. ASUU has been on strike since March this year over demands for more funding for public universities and renegotiation on the 2019 agreement with the federal government. And some 999 new cases of COVID-19 has been announced by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC. These new cases increased the total number of confirmed cases to 79,789 in the country. Of these 999 new infections, the FCT recorded the highest of 416. Lagos has 324, Kaduna 68, Plateau has 42, Kwara 32, Kano 24, Gombe 14, in Sokoto and Yobe has 12 each. Akwa Ibom has 11, Bayelsa 10, Rivers and Bauchi have 7 new cases each, Ogun 6, Oyo 5, Edo and Taraba confirmed 4 each, while Jigawa recorded 1 new case. On total number of cases per state, Lagos is leading with confirmed 27,091 cases, followed by the FCT with 10,122 cases. Kaduna is next with 4,628 cases, while Plateau comes fourth with 4,304 COVID-19 cases. There are currently some 9,679 cases being managed across the country, with 68,879 recovered patients discharged and an unfortunate 1,231 deaths on record. The Federal Capital Territory Ministerial Task Force has commenced enforcement on COVID-19 safety protocol compliance in Abuja. Shuaib Onoze-Yakub reports that the FCT Commissioner of Police, Bala Chiroma, led the enforcement team on the first day of the exercise. And that's an update of the news for now. Join us again at 1 for another one.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Hi there. A very warm welcome to another beautiful episode of Lifelines with Mima. How have you been? How is everything with you? I hope you're doing well. Today we're treating a rather unconventional topic, and it has to do with what we have termed payback. A young woman that's helped with sponsorship, sending a man abroad to make a living and come back and marry her, is here today with us with the man in question to treat the subject of who gets what at the end of the day. You know, this is part of the fallout of many of our young men that go abroad to do one thing or the other in order to survive. And that comes with a lot, and the ripple effects we see in several areas, and this is one of them. It promises to be interesting and educative as usual. This is a good time to grab a jotter, grab a pen, popcorn, call a friend. It's about to go down. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching Lifelines with Mima. Before the break, I told you about a lady and a man that have come to the house of Mima with a special kind of complaint. And so let's meet them. They are here with me now. Welcome, Mr. Elvis. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Welcome. I also have Becky here. Welcome. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And you look beautiful. Wow.
Thank you so much.
This pregnancy suits you. Okay. Let's get to the bottom of this. Mr. Elvis, what is the problem?
Thank you, Mima. Becky here was my fiancée. We dated for 9 good years, precisely from our secondary school days.
Okay.
And to cut the long story short, anyway, I had to travel abroad at some point.
Okay.
And I had made her a promise that I was going to work hard, come back, and get married to her. And in keeping to my promise, I worked really hard. I labored. And every money I made in Europe, I sent to her.
I see.
One, to invest precisely in real estate to secure our future. Secondly, to buy a house for us to settle into when we get married. And to start making preparations for our marriage.
Your wedding, yeah.
And to my surprise, I got back, of course, to get married to her as I promised. Behold, my supposed fiancée, heavily pregnant, with a ring on her finger, married to another man.
I see. Wow.
And now the question is, where is my money? Where is the investment? Where is the house I asked her to buy? She cannot account for anything. My labor of years in Europe, you're telling me stories? So I'm not sure she understands what it means to find yourself in a country where you are, as an immigrant, you know nobody, you're not even accepted. You have to work for everything you earn. Europe is not Nigeria where even immigrants move around freely and nobody questions them. Mima, I worked. I didn't do drugs. You don't pick money on the streets of Europe. Mima, I labored. I slept on the streets during winter. I guess you understand what that means. And some woman here is telling me my money is nowhere. No. This is not happening. It's not happening because it's not going to happen. Please, all I want is my money.
Stories.
I want my money.
Stories.
That is it.
Okay. All right, please calm down. Let's hear from Becky. Becky, okay, so what really happened here?
Mima, I have no regret for anything whatsoever. I don't regret it at all.
You have no conscience.
Mima, he's only being economical with the truth.
Then tell her the truth.
We dated for 9 good years. Yes, we agreed to settle down. He traveled for 3 good years and did not deem it necessary to communicate with his fiancée. Mima, I was the one following up the relationship. He held me down for 9 years plus 3 years he traveled. Do you understand that, Mima? And it is crazy that he didn't even deem it necessary to communicate with me. Elvis, you're wicked.
I didn't communicate and I was sending you money.
I did not interrupt you.
What do you want communication for when...
Elvis!
Money. What is communication
Mima,
compared to money?
When he was talking, I did not interrupt.
My hard-earned money I communicated to you in cash. You are talking about communication. What do you want to do with communication? I sent you dollars, euro. I mean, what are you talking about?
Mima.
I communicated in cash. I sent you my hard-earned money.
Mima, it's not letting me talk.
Communication. Can you walk into a shop and shop with communication?
We all know that a relationship cannot work without communication. Mima, you know that.
Give me my money, take communication.
Like I was saying before you interrupted me. I was following up this relationship for good 3 years when he was abroad. I followed up until I found out that Elvis here arranged with his brother to get married to one Oluchi.
Another girl?
Another girl.
Here in Nigeria?
Here in Nigeria. Remember, this same girl dumped him when she found out that Elvis here has 4 children. Not 1. Not 2. 4 children with white ladies abroad.
Wow.
It was after Oluchi dumped him. You think I don't know? It was when Oluchi dumped him that he remembered that Becky existed. Elvis, you are wicked.
Calm down. No name calling. Calm down. Calm down. Is this true? Do you have several children? Did you try to marry another woman?
She said 4, actually. She said 4.
4.
Okay, most of what she said are true, but not entirely.
Mima, the children are here in Nigeria. The 4 of them.
Wow.
Mima, if you've been to Europe or you've heard from guys who did, you will agree with me that over there, you have to do what you have to do to be able to move freely and walk. You know, there are papers you need to be able to walk on the street. Okay, so I of course, I had to do what I had to do. And in the process, yes, the children came. I have 4 children, yes. They are here in Nigeria because they are my children. But as for what did she call the name? Oluchi. There is no woman in the picture.
Blatant liar.
That one is a fabrication of her imagination.
Liar.
Okay, so that is it. But Mima, you and I know that this is not why we are here.
Okay.
We are here because she has my money. And she has not denied that. Okay, so whether she's still interested in the relationship or not, let her give me my money.
Okay.
Please, that's all I want.
Okay,
I want my money.
What happened with this money he's talking about?
Mima. Yes, he sent me money. But you don't have to believe everything Elvis tells you. Because Elvis, you see here, is a blatant liar. He is deceptive. His mouth is sugar-coated. Okay, Mima. I dated him for 9 years.
Yeah.
And within these 9 years, he deceived me into having 6 abortions.
I didn't force you.
Didn't you say it was a way of you checking your sperm count?
And checking your fertility as well. Did I force you?
Okay. Mima. When he was planning to travel abroad, I dropped out of school to support his traveling abroad financially.
And I sent you money and asked you to go back to school financially.
Mima.
Yeah.
I don't owe this man sitting here. Elvis, the money you sent is my payoff. Yes.
That's a lie.
My payoff.
That's a very big lie.
You paid for the 6 abortions.
How much?
You paid for frustrating me.
How much?
You paid for making me drop out of school.
With how much?
You paid for the pens.
Do you know how much I sent to you?
Calm down. You know it's not good for you.
I sent you hard currency.
Calm down.
Euro, dollars. I had earned money, my sweat.
Calm down.
You're telling me it's payoff for what?
I cannot be here with this man.
Calm down.
I cannot be here with this beast.
You're now married to another person?
I am happily married, as you can see.
And you gave him my money. You use my money to buy one
is a payoff. Your money is a payoff.
It's not going to happen. I will get my money.
Frustrating me. Elvis, your money is a payoff.
It's not going to happen.
See you in court.
Give me my money.
See you in court, Elvis.
Okay. Mima, you are my witness that she didn't deny this.
Mima.
Mima. She didn't deny having my money.
Please, I need to pee.
You are my witness.
I need to pee.
Calm down.
Please.
What?
I need to pee, please.
Oh, okay.
Don't run, let her not run.
Calm down. Let's take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still Lifelines with Mima. And today we're treating the topic that we titled Payback Time. Of course, you've met the couple, just before the break with a case of, a lady that has dated a man for a long time and he has entrusted with all of his money and investments from Europe, and now he's back to the country to settle with her, and she's already involved with another man, claiming that money he sent was compensation for all she had been through with him. Okay, let's take it from the legal perspective first. What do you think of this? What do you think the man can get from her, or what can she get from him legally?
As a matter of fact, there's a technical term for this. It's called breach of promise to marry. And you can actually seek redress at the court. It's a civil case. But there are two terms to prove, actually, as from the case of Ezina versus Atta and Mabamije versus Otu. That was decided in 2016. The first element is to prove that there was actually a promise to marry. Then the second element is that the person actually renegade on his promise to marry the other person. Now, if that really happens, you can take the person to court, not saying that, oh, you must marry me, but to at least get damages, compensatory damages for money loss, time loss, emotional distress, psychological distress, and all that. But this particular case is a little bit dicey and it's different. Why? They promised to get married to each other and he went abroad. He decided to form another marriage in Nigeria with another woman, not her. So actually what he did was breach the contract to marry her. So he cannot come again and say, okay, I wanted this, no, now I want that. No, I feel he has actually broken the contract already with her.
You see, that woman, according to lawyer, I don't understand most of the Greek language she was using as a matter of fact. I think the woman should be castrated.
Haba.
She should be removed of her ovaries, to say the least. Do you know this Europe, as I watch a film, the quality is tremendous. You can't survive it.
Yeah.
After working day and night, some of them have 7 jobs. You now come because of near talk, I will marry you. You said it's a mutual something you people have, and I give you my hard currency. You change it everywhere is dollar. You now abscond with another man, and you say I should go arrest in peace. The man should follow illegally, and at the end of the day, we will take them to correction center.
Malam Ajebo, I'm putting this to you, that men are promiscuous.
Women are wicked.
Men can be so selfish. This is selfishness. Only God knows where it will lead them to. Okay, this is a man, let me remind you, that goes abroad.
In cold, we put in the conditions.
In cold, yes, he wants to be there. Okay, the lady sacrificed a lot for him to leave this Nigeria.
By getting pregnant?
Wait, Malam Ajebo, this woman dropped out of school to allow this supposed fiance, is it fiance or fiance, to go abroad.
I get
and how did he end up with 4 different children?
You promised that you are coming back.
I will tell you.
You promised that you are coming back to marry her. She dropped out of school without even her parents knowing. She sent you abroad. You got abroad. You impregnated several women to have children for you. And at the same time, listen, Malam Ajebo, and at the same time, you are planning with your elder brother in Nigeria to look for a befitting lady for you to get married to. Unknown to him, that the lady they were arranging for him got to know that he has several women abroad, and she declined. She said she's not going to get married to this man. Okay, after he started coming back, he now realized that the person they have arranged for me, it's not working. So this one I've abandoned. Let me quickly go back.
He
started sending money.
Let me put it to you. Don't go back.
He started sending money to her. Unknowingly to him too, that this one you have abandoned.
She
already has her own plan. And she now sees the money you are sending, that, okay, I'm coming home to marry you. She found out your plan, that you have already arranged for somebody and the marriage did not work. Now you want to eat your cake and have it. You want to now look for somebody that does not have husband to come and marry. So she collected the money.
Is broad.
She collected the money and she insists that she will not give this money. This one will cover for the damages. That this man. Yes, I'm going to call it damages because she has removed several pregnancies for him before he left Nigeria.
Thank you very much. You have a very valid. If I don't say this, am I wrong? Let me say.
After passing through 9 years, she's the only one who holds his heart dear. And for her to toss his heart the way she did, then obviously there must be a recourse, and court is there to actually listen to him. So a civil claim can actually be instituted against her. That's what I would do if I was with his lawyer. So that's just the position.
Elizabeth, what do you have to add to it before we go?
Well, left for me, if the lady in question I'll look for a lawyer too and explain my own side of the story. The lawyer is a human being. And I'll have to put it to the lawyer that what if you have me as your sister and a man is out there.
Are you using emotion to blackmail?
No, it's not like
Your
that.
sister is
I'm a human being, somebody gives
the
birth
man
to
is
me.
a goat. Is he not a human being?
He goes abroad
to suffer.
No, to suffer.
Let's see if we can reach a mid-ground. Let's see if a compromise can actually come out of this. Maybe what we should be looking at is a situation where she actually returns some of his money.
I agree.
Right? It might not be everything, but she would refund some of his money. Because the truth is that where is he going to start from without any money? Since he was depending solely on this before he moved back home. So let's look for a win-win situation for both parties.
There's a question. If it's really, if he sent all that money to her to invest, as he says, because it's his words against hers, how come he went searching for another woman if that's what
Well, he sent the money after the other
woman failed.
Yes.
That's when
It's because he loves the woman with his heart. Come on, I see my pillar weeping.
Okay, guys, let's go back to the couple and see what we can do for them. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's Lifelines with Mima. And before the break, we listened to a lady and a man that came to complain about what has happened in their relationship concerning monetary investment and all. I've also taken time to talk with my team members, as you have seen, and they are all of different opinions on the matter. At the end of the day, what happens and what is best for all of us is some level of compromise. And so, Mr. Elvis, I want to appeal to you to please take it easy. I know you are pained, but you see, the deed has been done. And so now all we can do is damage control and try and see how we can move forward, and come to a level of compromise. Now, Becky, I understand your own pain too, and I'm sorry you'd had to go through all of that, but now something has to be done about the situation. It's not right to walk away with all of the money. I know you are not a bad person. You are just bitter over things that you have gone through, and I am sorry for that. Please, I am sorry for that. So let's get to compromise somewhere. Tell me, Mr. Elvis, how much money are we talking about?
We are talking about a total of 350,000 euros.
You have details of this and you're sure?
Yes, actually it's about 240,000 euros, and then dollars as well. By the time if I convert all of them to euros, it amounts to 350,000 euros. Okay, and when converted to naira, of course, that money is in the neighborhood of 150 something million naira.
That's a lot of money. Okay, so Becky, I'm sure you didn't just squander the money, right? Did you invest in anything, any business properties? Did you take time to invest the money?
No, Mima. It came in bits.
Okay, so can we reach a compromise? I know this is difficult for you, and I know this brings back bad memories, but something has to be done, to help both parties in this situation. So I'd like to suggest, is it possible for you to take some time and refund him at least half of that money, 75 million naira? Is it possible?
As share my money 50-50. Mima.
It's better than nothing.
Mima, you don't know what I went through. Mima, forget her tears. She cries easily. Even when she's happy, she shed tears.
No,
this thing is nothing.
She's bitter.
Don't get emotional. This thing is nothing.
Let's meet somewhere in the middle. Instead of nothing, and instead of dragging this in court and making it messy, why don't we just reach a compromise? Sometimes we lose in life. We don't gain all the time. And our plans don't always go as, we thought they would go. So please calm down, Mr. Elvis. Becky, please, what do you have to say about refunding at least half of that money?
Mima, I can only be able to cough out 15 million.
Okay. So you don't have up to 75 million?
I don't have to up to 75 million.
Okay. But are you agreeing to refund 50 million?
Because of you, Mima.
I appreciate that. Thank you for honoring me. Thank you for honoring me.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Elvis?
Mima, please, let's not go there. Mima, it's not okay by me.
Okay.
To answer your question before you ask. Truth is, what did she do with the money? Is she on drugs? Is she on oxygen?
No, she's not.
Mima, don't let her fake tears, her crocodile tears, influence your judgment.
You cannot give what you don't have.
Mima, she has it. What did she do with it? Is she cooking jewelries?
She doesn't have it. Even the 50 million will take some time for her to put it together for you.
No.
Let's start from there at least.
Mima,
it's better than nothing.
Mima, this woman is fraud. Let me tell you something.
Oh,
if I don't love her, I'm not stupid to have sent all my earnings through her.
I know.
Mima, as we speak, she is my next of kin. I have her as my next of kin. That's to show you how much I love and respect her. I have brothers. I have mother. I have my father alive. And I made her my next of kin. And she's there telling you cock and goose stories that I did this and that.
I'm sorry.
This is the network service of the NTA. We now join our outside broadcast crew for a live telecast. Please stay tuned.
For the opening prayer, we invite the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Fred Paco.
May we all rise. Father, we thank you for this opportunity, for it is written that we should be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. The land of Woji, this road of Woji and Obaji have been replenished by the governor of the state. Therefore, we stand on the authority of that word and we subdue every negative circumstances. We are in charge here and every circumstance surrenders to us. Father, be glorified in our lives. That this that have been done today will be useful to the people of River State and you will take all the glory. Be the spiritual chairman and take charge of all we do. This we pray through thanksgiving in Jesus' mighty name.
Welcome to NTA Network Service, your largest TV network service in Africa. From the south region of Nigeria, Port Harcourt City, we are bringing you live transmission of the River State Government third consecutive day inauguration of road projects in GRA Port Harcourt.
No.
You are outside broadcast crew. I'm Kingsley Amaju. Welcome.
Akinde, Governor of Oyo State. The Right Honorable Ikunyi Owaji Ebani, Right Honorable Speaker, River State House of Assembly. Elder Statesman Eyitayo Jegede, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Governorship Candidate of PDP in Ondo State 2019. Distinguished Senator Hosia Agbola and other honorable members of the National Assembly present. Ambassador Desmond Akawo, State Chairman, People's Democratic Party, River State. Right Honorable Austin Opara, OFR, DSSRS, former Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives. Chief Dr. Obie Sekibo Ashinde IV, former Honorable Minister of Transport. The immediate past state chairman, People's Democratic Party, Brother Felix Obua, sole administrator, River State Waste Management Agency. Elder statesman, Chief Ferdinand Alabraba, Senator Olaka Wogu, Prince Sir Emma Ayan, Chief the Honorable Azibuike Imerokini, Honorable Felix Weke, Elder Shidi Wiyoka, Chief the Honorable Paul Wanodi, and other elder statesmen present. Honorable Michael O. Shinda, member representing Obiakwa State Constituency 2, Chairman House Committee on Works, and other honorable members of the House of Assembly, members of the State Executive Council present, special advisors, permanent secretaries, Chairman Obiakwa Local Government Area, and other chairmen present, royal fathers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today is the third in a series of multiple road project commissioning, and it shows a leadership that is committed to a prudent management of lean public resources. It is on this note that I most heartily welcome Your Excellencies and other distinguished guests to the commissioning of Obaji Street and Woji Road, constructed by His Excellency Yesom Ezenwa Wike, the Governor of Rivers State. For the welcome address, may I invite the Chairman Obiakwa Local Government Area, Prince the Honorable Solomon Abel Eke.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of your state, the Right Honorable Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly, let me adopt the existing protocol. Your Excellency, the people of Obiakwa, the leaders, elders, opinion leaders, women and youth have asked me to say a rousing welcome to Obiakwa local government for this occasion. You are welcome. Ibialaway.
Your Excellencies, very much. Next is traditional performance, as I invite the women of this host community, the Elebam Women Meeting, for the traditional dance.
Obagi and Woji Road expanded and reconstructed by the present administration under Governor Nyesom Wike would be unveiled today by the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde. The road projects are part of the overall urban renewal program by the current administration in the state, the essence of which is to help restore the Garden City status of Port Harcourt.
Thank you very much. For the band women meeting. Thank you. Can we please put our hands together for them? Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we come to our remarks and description of the project as I invite the Honorable Commissioner for Works, River State, Honorable Barrister Enoka Tasie Amadi.
Your Excellency, Chief Wike CY, GSSR Express Africa, Governor of River State, Your Excellency Engineer Sheyi Makinde, Governor of Oyo State, the Right Honorable Ikwe Awajibani, Speaker of the River State House of Assembly. Your Excellency, please permit me at this point to adopt and rely on already established protocols. I welcome you once again to another ceremony for the commissioning of roads built by the River State government under our ongoing urban renewal program. On the 21st day of December 2020, we have the honor of the presence of His Excellency Amadu Umaru Fintiri, the Governor of Adamawa State, who commissioned 3 roads. Yesterday, the 22nd of December, His Excellency Samuel Autumn, Governor of Benue State, graced the occasion and commissioned yet another 3 roads, which are Tumbia Street, Ndoni Street, and Amaji Street. Today, we are most honored to have Your Excellency Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, Governor of Oyo State, here with us to commission the reconstructed Woji and Obagi roads. For those who may not fully understand, road reconstruction is an activity which changes the standard of a road, such as changing a road from a single lane to double lane, or increasing the design speed by expanding the road, increasing lighting, or such other design improvements. It is essentially the transfer of a road to a higher category by changing its geometric parameters and improving the quality of road pavement. These reconstructions produce many obvious benefits, such as travel time benefits by a reduction in travel time, vehicle operating cost benefits, smoother roads naturally produce less wear and tear on vehicles and help reduce fuel consumption. Reduced stop-and-go driving also reduces brake wear. The elimination of potholes can also reduce tire wear and balance. And most importantly, there is always a boost in the economy, brought about by the availability of good transportation access. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me joy to present to you the reconstructed Woji Road upon which I am standing and you are sitting. Obagi Street on my left, but not within sight from our current location, has also been reconstructed. Both roads are now 12 meters wide, complete with stormwater drains and streetlights, and they have both been built to the highest quality, standards and design parameters with the intendment of a very long lifespan, ultimately saving resources for successive governments to commit to other pressing needs. The River State government recognizes that roads are very essential long-term investments, the benefits of which will accrue more to successive governments and to the good people of our state in years to come. Your Excellency, we thank you for finding time from your very busy schedule to be with us today. Welcome and God bless you.
Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, next is remarks by the contractor that handled the project, as I invite the representative of Julius Berger Nigeria Limited, PLC, Engineer Daniel Bless.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, His Excellency, the Governor of Oyo State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I humbly stand on existing protocols. I would like to thank the Executive Government of Rivers State for the ongoing confidence in our work and a very good working relationship. I would like to thank my construction team, the management, the engineers, the supervisors, all the workers, and please don't forget the helpers. There was a lot of work here ongoing and is only workable as a team. I would like to thank also the Ministry of Work members for a very good and capable, efficient working relationship. In advance, I would like to thank for all the required technical documents from the Ministry of Works, since I think we agreed that the road is in very good condition and we are entitled for the substantial completion certificates in time. Voji Road was awarded in 2020 in April, and the contractor delivered in time. Obagi Street is the conclusion of Zero Pothole project, which started in 2015. I want to give the audience an overview of the roads which was done under the Zero Pothole project, because it was a lot of work and I think it was very successful for the infrastructure of the city. We have Oyamini Street in 2015, followed by Obiwali Street, Opunabali Street. Other streets are Evo, Forces Avenue, Voji, the other side. Then Tombia, we have Aoda Street, Winston Churchill Street, Creek Road, Sokoto Road, Eche Kolokuma Road, Odili Drive, we have rehabilitated, Tourist Beach Road, New Road, Bishop Johnson Road, Bishop Fubara Road, Bonnie Street, Creek Road, Kepna Mangala Road. Thank you, thank you. Elliot Henry Road, Birabi Road, MAR Road, Amaji Road, and Doni Road, Obagi Road, and maybe one or the other which I forgot. So altogether, the Zero Pothole project was around 40 kilometers of road, starting with rehabilitation and going more and more into new construction and partly in dualization. Approximately 500,000 square meters of asphalt was laid, which is more than 100,000 tons of asphalt. To give you a picture, if you put that amount of asphalt on the biggest warship America has, it will sink because it is heavier. So I want to thank also all the local residents, community members and stakeholders, shop owners and road users for the patience, for the delays caused by the construction over the time. But I think it's better to be delayed by ongoing construction sites than to run all over the time over potholes. So when I was starting here in 2015 to be a member of this progress, I didn't know, but over the years I understand that His Excellency has like a master plan already in his mind. We started with making roads passable, flowable, with repairing potholes, and we were going more and more into new construction. For example, this road, Woji Road, and the other roads in New GRA are good road traffic diversion for the flyover projects. I want to thank you very much, His Excellency. You are inspiration for myself and I think for many other people. The world needs more leaders like you. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless everybody.
Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, standing on the words of Daniel Bless, that the world needs inspiring leaders like Nyesom Wike, may I cheerfully invite His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, to speak to his guests.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Oyo State, our friend and our in-law, the Honorable, the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Your Excellency, the former Governor of Rivers State, the former Deputy Speaker, House of Reps, our dear leaders, former Minister of Transport, the members of the State Assembly that are here, our dear leaders, members of the State Executive Council, traditional rulers, our dear women, beautifully, gorgeously dressed, gentlemen of the press. Let me recognize my friend, the leader of the party in Ondo State, the gubernatorial candidate of our party, Itayo Jegede, senior advocate of Nigeria, who is here today with us by the grace of God, who will reclaim his mandate. Let me first of all thank the governor, our special guest, for accepting to come today to identify with us and commission project that has to do with urban renewal. This is one of our efforts in urban renewal. Obage stroke Woji Road. I saw the picture painted here by Minister of Works. That tells you they are not on ground. Everybody knows that how bad Woji Road was. So what they painted there is not correct. That is why I'm always in control, in charge. I do work as if I'm the commissioner. You can see that I know the place better than them. Well, he just came in as commissioner. He was not here then. So that picture he took is not the picture of Woji Road. As at the time, Julius Berger took over the reconstruction of this route. I'm proud to say, this morning I read in newspaper where some people were saying that we are playing to the gallery. I said, you two come and play to the gallery. If Nigeria really is a country that talks about democracy, I can assure you, everybody will run away from the ruling party. If we're talking about democracy, everybody would have run away from the ruling party. Because there's nothing the ruling party has offered this country. We are proud. We can come out and say, To the people of Port Harcourt and all the Abuja local government, what has PDP done for you that they want you to also vote for them again? We can proudly say to the people of Port Harcourt and all the Abuja local government today, this is what PDP has done. This is what the government of PDP has done. We can mention all the projects we have carried out in these two local governments. We can go to another government and say, look, vote for us. They will ask us, why do you say we should vote for you? What have you done for our local government? Very soon, when we go to our local government, we'll be able to tell them, yes, this is what we have done. Therefore, having done this, if you vote for us again, the likelihood that we'll do more. But then the new party come to Rivers State and tell us, see what we have done for the people of Rivers State. Have they done anything in this state? Nothing. Everything has collapsed in the country. Security has what? Collapsed. Economy has what? Collapsed. There's nothing working in Nigeria. So we are proud to showcase and come out and tell the people of the state, see what we are doing. It is not easy for you to tell your people to challenge you and ask you what you have done for them. It is not easy. So for us, all the commissionings we have been doing for the past 3 days now, all have been shown on live television. Let those who are doubting, come and challenge us. That place you are saying is not correct. Nothing has been done there. So that it's not a question of bringing out 3Ds and showing in television as Sanjaya style. This one is practical. Is anybody living or doing business along Woji Road that will say that we are not the one who constructed this road? Has it not been constructed? So, we don't intend to go and snap picture from somewhere and put as if something is going on in that area. We don't do that. Our own is seeing is believing. This is Woji Road. The other side is Babagi Road. Now we are doing Omarelu Road, leading to Aba Road. We have almost done with Asai Odoni Street. So there's practically no street apart from one in this big area that I've told Ratayagiwa to go and take that only road, so we know that we have completed the entire road in this new GRA. The same thing in OGRA. The same thing in OGRA. I challenge everybody. So the business people here, you are happy now that your road is well, pay your tax too. Because the money that you use to pay Ratayagiwa is not small money. Ratayagiwa is very expensive. And they do good job. So if you don't pay a tax, you can't continue to deliver this quality of road. So all of you who are doing business now, some people have hotel here, they are happy, people are not in their hotels. Some people have schools here, they are happy, no more flooding. So that is what it's all about, to provide the dividend of democracy. And I want to commend Ratayagiwa. It is not every company that has the kind of capacity they have. I'm happy that every day when I leave this office, I walk on the streets without security to say, look, I have done well for my people. I have not disappointed the people of Rivers State. So it is because after tomorrow we are taking break because of Christmas. From January 4, it will be commissioning. We'll go to Akukotoro, we'll go to Bori, we'll go to Tai, we'll go to Omewa and commission projects. So that those who are claiming that it's only a Port Harcourt, they will see that we have done road in Rumuchi, we have done road in Ishodu, we have done road in Semi Road to Nowa, we have done Sabuma to Bori. Dualization, they are put on the line, there are people are jubilating. So people know that we are not just talking because we want to talk. We are talking because we have done something. If you have done something, come out and tell people what you have done. And we thank our brother. I have challenged people, whether anybody likes it or not. I read they said progressive governors or governors forum are saying that there is insecurity. No! They should come out of Abuja and say that the party in power has failed Nigerians. Don't say insecurity in the country. who is responsible? Nigerians get mandate to who? They get mandate to APC at the federal level. And therefore, they must honor to show that they have failed Nigerians. I will not associate myself with them to say, oh, we are tired. People said we are not tired. We will work for our people. When there was problem a bit in this state about the level of kidnapping, I shouted and shouted and shouted and shouted. Nobody listened to us. They said it was politics. Now we are killing APC people. I said when you do politics to security, the consequences will be great. Today, all over Nigeria, insecurity. Everywhere. The other day in Katsina, they took about 400. The next day they said they took 84. Now again they said they are taking the village head, the wife, and 14 people. In Katsina State. Insecurity is everywhere now in Nigeria. But when it was happening, I shouted. They were playing politics. Because when you introduce politics and issues of security, this is what you get at the end of the day. So they will continue to suffer until they come to apologize to River State that we are sorry to what you have done to us. By playing politics with security, this is what has happened now in Nigeria. So Nigeria, come and tell River State sorry, and then God will forgive all of them. So on this note, let me invite my brother. What we say progressive, I don't know what progressive they are. These are the real progressive governors. In the two sense of it. Two sense of it, these are the real progressive. People just go and borrow word from dictionary and give themselves progressive. Who are the two sense of progressives? Look at the very young governor doing well. Of course, he has no choice. He married from River State. So he has no choice but to be doing well as River State are doing well. Knowing that our sister will not allow him to fall our hand. So I have faith and I know that I have the tremendous support and respect from the people of Oyo State. On that note, my dear brother, I invite you to talk to your in-laws. Your in-laws, not to talk to River State, your in-laws. Speak to your in-laws. If you drop anything too, we'll take for this Christmas period. To speak to your in-laws and subsequently commission Obagi Woji Road to the globe. Thank you and God bless
The key takeaway from the statements, the speech of the governor of Rivers State is that this administration is creating value through these programs. And by January 4th next year, the government said it is prepared to inaugurate other projects across the 23 LGAs.
Your Excellency, my own brother, Nyesom Ezinwo Wike, CON GSSRS, the Executive Governor of Rivers State. Your Excellency, Sir Celestine Domia, GSSRS, former Governor of Rivers State. The Right Honorable Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly, and other House of Assembly members that are here present. My own brother, the candidate of our party in the 2020 governorship election in Ondo State, Itayo Jagede SAN, distinguished Senator Osea Agbola. I want to especially greet the royal fathers, members of the Rivers State Executive Council that are here, and also honorable members of the National and State Assembly, and my own brother as well, Right Honorable Austin Okpara, former Deputy Speaker, House of Reps, Ambassador Desmond Akawa, that is the state chairman of PDP. I want to stand on the already established protocol, and I must admit that I'm not the best in protocol, but I'm learning, so it will get better. Well, I bring you greetings from the good people of Oyo State, and I want to thank you for inviting me back to Rivers State. I always feel welcome here because, as you may know, I served here, my NYSC, I did it here, and I also lived here for some years. But I served Nigeria then because NYSC is a Nigerian program. But my wife is from here, so after I finished serving Nigeria, now I've been serving Rivers State up until this moment and for so many years to come. So you shouldn't worry whether when you invite me, if I will come or not. I will definitely come. Excuse me, because I'm at your service. I also have a family living here, so I consider Rivers State as my second home. Last year I was here to flag off the flyover project at Artillery. Coming here this morning, I see that some of those flyovers have been completed. So I want to thank you for having me identify with progress as you commission another project, the Obaje Street to Woji Road Reconstruction Project, in the overall plan for urban renewal here. Developments are a big part of our democracy, and every project counts towards the overall progress of the nation. Indeed, all right-minded people like to identify with progress, irrespective of their personal feelings towards the initiator. How much more in this case, when I'm rejoicing with my in-laws, fellow party members, and friends. Again, I want to thank Governor Wike for this honor. Well, he just mentioned that we're actually the true progressive. We are blessed to be leaders at this point in Nigeria's history, where there seems to be a reawakening of political consciousness, especially among the young people. More progressive minds are seeing a need to get involved in the task of nation building. And so we have the unique privilege of grooming a new crop of people who will see governance as service. We have remained too long in an era where people see public covers as an extension of their personal accounts. This is why we see members of that old brigade unashamedly calling out others for not opening up the state purse to them. We cannot make any kind of progress with that type of mindset. Development costs money, and that is what Governor Wike just said. It's not chicken change to pay Julius Berger to reconstruct, and do all of these projects here. So, if all we do is share public money, public wealth to our cronies, how are we going to be here, to commission this type of projects? I know that the time is coming, and it is soon, when we will have more people in Nigeria sincerely asking, Governor Wike alluded to it, they will ask us, what did you do with the power that we gave to you? And when you talk, the evidence from all you're saying, like you see people putting 3D and say they've done projects, and then they will say, oh, a 5 billion naira project after one rain has been washed away. So there's coming that time when the yardstick to measure what further opportunities should be accorded to any politician will be what they have done. And I do think that at the very next cycle of election, 2023, Nigerians will show that they have learned something from the events of this year, 2020. That electoral decisions have consequences. Yes, when you take decision, it's one day's event, but the consequences, people will live with it for 4 years. For example, the people of Rivers State are reaping a harvest of infrastructural development today because they voted someone who believes in such a development. Julius Berger, engineer, came and said they didn't know that the governor already got in his mind, his own ideas and plans. So that is what the Rivers people are reaping today. And I make bold to say that it will be difficult for any other political party to take Rivers State from PDP. Because you cannot plant cassava and go back expecting to reap cocoyam. And this reawakening, which is now dubbed in Yoruba, they will say Sorosoke or Speak Up, the Speak Up generation. What they are pushing will only yield needed results if it is also used to interrogate electoral choices. If you're not happy and you're speaking up, you need to do more than that. You need to go out there, participate, and use that speak up reawakening to drive electoral choices. I always say that we cannot build the Nigeria of our dreams by being complacent. It is not something that we will leave to other people. It is a task that we all must be involved in. Each person, either as citizen or as leaders, has a role to play. Of course, we travel outside our country and see development. We see things are working well. The truth remains that those things are working because people are making them work. They are making use of what they have to accomplish what they must. So Nigerians remain blessed with human resources. We keep hearing about how our fellow countrymen and women are making giant strides all over the world. So it seems commonsensical to invite them to come and contribute to making Nigeria better. But what we will be asking them to come back to. That is why any project that will contribute to the reduction of our infrastructural deficit is a welcome idea and must be applauded. Sometimes I hear people say, oh, why are you praising Governor Wike for doing his job? And I ask, will you berate him if he refuses to do this job? So it is logical that we must praise him for delivering on his promises to the people of Rivers State. So, whoever likes, they can go and hit their head, on the Well, somebody said they can go and hug the transformer. So I joined in praising Governor Nyesom Wike, my brother, for the work he has done here. I said to him, well done. At the same time, I say keep on doing even more. Somebody said as we were coming, or maybe yesterday night, that Governor Wike was doing the work as if he's a first-term governor. He's not going to run election to be the governor of Rivers State again. But maybe he can come to your state after my own second term. So I say, keep on doing even more so that more people will be celebrating you. We will have more converts to join me and join the rest of us to celebrate Mr. Project. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Take away from the message of Governor of Oyo State is that every project counts in the overall effort towards national development. And he then asks, what have you done for your people as a leader? And finally, he wants public officers to be judged in the next election based on their performances while in office.
To the glory of God and for the benefit of the good people of Rivers State, Port Harcourt and Obiapo in particular, I commissioned this Obagi/Woji Road. I do it in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Sorry. Okay. Give me the mic. No, good. Hello, sir. Commissioning of the Obagi and Woji Road, constructed during the administration of His Excellency Nyesom Wike, CON, Governor of Rivers State, and commissioned by His Excellency Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, Executive Governor of Oyo State, this day, 23rd December 2020. To God be the glory. Amen.
Please never rise for the national anthem. We sincerely thank you for staying tuned while the inauguration of the Obagi Woji project lasted. And on behalf of the outside broadcast crew, we are handing you back to our network studio for the continuation of the rest of the scheduled program. I am Kingsley Amajiri. Thank you.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Thank you for joining us on the program from the National Assembly. I am Ignatius Unko. Well, on the 21st of December 2020, being Monday, the Senate passed the 2021 appropriation bill. Usually, members of the National Assembly don't sit on a Monday, but because they decided that they must pass the 2021 budget before they embark on Christmas and New Year holidays, they suspended their rules and then sat on that Monday and then passed the budget. Now, we'll bring to you a repeat of that sitting. Passing the 2021 appropriation bill before closing the chambers for Christmas break becomes exigent. Therefore, the no plenary on Monday's rule of the National Assembly was suspended.
We welcome us to this special session of the Senate. This session is special because the Senate doesn't sit on Mondays, but we have a monumental task before us, the task of passing the budget of the federal government. And we believe that this is a sufficient ground for us to come today in order to pass the budget 2021. For this, I want to thank all of us for making it here.
Less than 3 months after President Muhammadu Buhari presented the 2021 appropriation bill before the joint session of the National Assembly, its committees on finance have concluded scrutiny of the money bill and the budget of economic recovery and resilience passed.
The second order of the day is the obtaining of the report of the Committee of Appropriation on the 2021 Appropriation Bill 2020. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, 15th October 2020. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Barrow Jibrin, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Appropriation Bill 2020 SB 523. Mr. President, I so move.
Mr. President, I want to second the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Appropriation on 2021 Appropriation Bill 2020 SB 223. I so second, Mr. President.
Those in favor of the motion that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Appropriations on the 2021 Appropriation Bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. Please, you may lead the report.
I stand before this August Senate to present the report of the Senate Committee on Appropriations on the 2021 Appropriation Bill. Introduction. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you may recall that our joint sitting of the National Assembly held on Thursday, 8th October 2020, the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, presented the 2021 Appropriation Bill to the National Assembly. The 2021 budget, christened Budget of Economic Recovery and Resilience, aimed at accelerating the pace of Nigerian economic recovery, promote economic diversification, enhance competitiveness, and ensure social inclusion. The budget contained estimates of revenue and expenditure in the aggregate sum of 13,802,420,568,233 naira only. This sum, as you are aware, was made up of the figures or the amount stated in the report before you. Number 2, legislative action. The Senate debated on the general principle of the bill in 3 legislative days, read it a second time, and consequently refer same to the Committee on Appropriations for further legislative action on Thursday, the 15th of October 2020. In the desire of the Senate and House of Representatives counterparts to fast-track the passage of the bill, the 2 chambers met and developed timetable and guidelines that will advance work on the bill. In addition, the committee, after consultations with the Senate leadership on the developed timetable and guidelines, held an interactive meeting with chairmen of the subcommittees. The timetable, guidelines, and schedule for budget, defense, and submission of reports were equally presented to them. They were enjoined to adhere strictly to the work plan for the budget, defense, submission of their reports so as to ensure timely completion of the exercise. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I wish to state that budget, defense, and submission of reports by the subcommittees was scheduled for 7 days, spanning from Wednesday 11th to Wednesday 18 November 2020. However, this was later extended by another 7 days. That was Thursday 19 to Friday 27 November 2020. Due to the delay by some subcommittees to submit their harmonized reports to the committee. This delay, to a large extent, was caused due to the volume of work that the subcommittees had to contend with during the budget defense by the various MDAs, and the subsequent analysis and reconciliation of their reports with their counterparts in the House of Representatives. There was also delayed receipt of spending requests by the executive for the scaling up of the National Social Investment Program, NSIP, amounting to 365 billion naira. Revenue assertion for the 2020 appropriation bill. In preparing this budget report, the committee was guided by the revenue parameters approved by the National Assembly when it considered the medium-term expenditure framework, so fiscal strategy paper, MTEP-FSP, as demonstrated below in the table below. I don't need to read those facts that are there before you. Observation. The committee, while processing the bill, observed and noted the following. A, that the impact of COVID-19 pandemic has negatively affected virtually every aspect of life. Businesses, individuals, and government, especially revenue accruals to the government. B, there is a remarkable increase in Nigeria's oil price, which is hovering between $47 and $50 per barrel in the international market. This is above the benchmark price of $40 per barrel approved by the National Assembly. C, the discovery of underprojection of the total revenue to the tune of 100 billion. D, the need to enhance the structure of the budget to allow for the reflation of the economy in order to accelerate the process of taking out the economy from its current state of recession. E, the dire need for optimal allocation and judicious utilization of the scarce resources available for economic recovery, diversification, enhancements of competitiveness, and ensuring social inclusion. Number 5, prayer and recommendation. In view of the increasing global oil prices beyond the benchmark of $40 US, the executive may wish to submit a supplementary appropriation bill whenever it is fit, in order to further fund critical areas that will help to accelerate the movement of our economy out of its current state of recession. Number two, Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, having thoroughly examined the reports and recommendations, the operation subcommittees on the schedules of the 2020 appropriation bill, the committee hereby recommends that the Senate do consider and approve a bill from an act to authorize the issue for the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, the total sum of 13,588,886,175 naira only, of which 498,471,273 naira only is for statutory transfers. 3,324,380,000,000 naira only is for debt service. 5,641,970,060,680 naira only is for recurrent expenditure, while the sum of 4,125,149,340
through a communication to the Senate, presented a budget proposal of 453,200,000,000 all in for the fiscal year 2020 as follows. Personnel expenditure 27.3 billion. Overhead expenditure 13.9 billion. Internal capital expenditure 2.7 billion. Development projects 409,080,000,000. Total expenditure 453,200,000,000. Revenue sources. The revenue sources for the proposed budget are made up of the following. 1. Revenue brought forward 12 billion. Federal government contribution 81 billion. Federal government contribution, that is unpaid arrears by the federal government, 100 billion. Oil companies contribution and others, 200 billion. Ecological funds, 60 billion. Other internally realized income, 200 million. Total revenue, 453 billion, 200 million. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the committee in its own consideration upon referral, the committee carried out its legislative mandate on the budget proposal and noted that the developmental aspect of the budget is basically a rollover of the 2019 budget, which is in furtherance of the drive to ensure completion of ongoing projects. On the revenue projections of the Commission, 81 billion all-in was earmarked as statutory contribution by the federal government to the NDDC. Since the proposed federal government contribution for the year 2020 is higher than the amount
approved by the National Assembly. For the same year, the committee adopted 63.5 billion only, which is the figure reflected in the Appropriation Act of 2020. Furthermore, the sum of 100 billion naira reflected as unpaid arrears by the federal government was not considered as part of the Commission's revenue projection by the committee because the amount was not approved in the 2020 Appropriation Act by the National Assembly. However, the Commission disclosed that the revenue inflow from oil companies, NLNG, and others exceeded what was projected, prompting an increase in the revenue projection for that sector from 200 billion only to 317.4 billion. The committee adopted the submission of the Commission on Personnel Expenditure of 27.3 billion only, overhead expenditure 13.9 billion only, internal capital 2.7 billion naira, and the budget for developmental projects 409 billion 80 million. The total budget for 2020 is therefore 453 billion 200 million naira only. The Senate Committee on Niger Delta and the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC unanimously resolved to recommend that the lifespan of the budget be extended to enable the Commission to achieve full implementation. Accordingly, the 2020 NDDC budget is recommended to elapse on the 31st March 2021. Recommendation. In view of the foregoing, the committee recommends as follows: that the revenue profile for the Commission for the year 2020 is as follows. Revenue brought forward 12 billion. Federal government contribution 63.5 billion. Federal government contribution, that is the unpaid arrears by the federal government, nil. Oil companies contribution and Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Limited and others 317.4 billion. Ecological Fund 60 billion. Other internally realized income 200 million. Total revenue of 453 billion 200 million. The committee considered increase in personnel costs and also considered the overheads and internal capital estimate, as well as the adjustment in the revenue profile of the Commission, and consequently recommend the following as the expenditure profile. 1. Personnel expenditure 27.3 billion, overhead expenditure 13.9 billion, internal capital expenditure 2.7 billion. Developmental projects 409 billion 80 million. Total expenditure 453 billion 200 million naira. That the lifespan of the 2020 NDDC budget will elapse on the 31st March 2021. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, our prayers that the Senate do consider and approve the 2020 budget proposal for the Niger Delta Development Commission in the sum of 453 billion 200 million naira only, as recommended by the committee. I so submit.
Mr. President and my dear colleagues, I first of all would like particular taken in the recent past concerning the anomalous situation in the governance structure and the operations of the NDDC. And I do so because, as Mr. President and colleagues know very well, apart from any other thing, the NDDC Act was an act that the National Assembly, at the time the executive bill was brought, made a lot of input. As a matter of fact, I want to use this opportunity. I know that older legislators from the region who have been here would have done so over and over. But it's good to also register our appreciation for the commitment and patriotism displayed by the leadership of both chambers of the National Assembly at the time when they overrode the president on the context, on the funding dynamics and structure of the bill. As a result of that courage, and Mr. President, you know you were part of that National Assembly that did that for this country and for the region, the Niger Delta region. Political careers were sacrificed. So the National Assembly, more than any other bill, more than any other institution, has a duty to jealously guide and guard the independence and the effectiveness and operations of the NDDC as you have done. I say so because when I was governor of Bayelsa and chairman of the South-South Governors Forum, we met with the president and supported the need for a forensic audit of the operations of the NDDC. And now we have a situation where instead of swiftly composing of the board as stipulated by the Act, what was put in place was an illegal structure known as the Interim Management Committee. And that is why I'm thanking Mr. President and by extension the National Assembly for doing what was right, for protecting that critical institution. Unfortunately, Mr. President, whereas it is true that an audit can go pari passu with a board, as a matter of fact, if you want to carry out a proper audit, forensic or otherwise, you set up the board according to the Act for them to do what they need to do. That's what is happening in every other corporation or institution. But in the case of the NDDC, things are left the way they are. As it is now, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, all the governance structures and mechanisms put in place by the Act are non-existent. You don't have the governing board made up of the governors and officials at the federal level. You don't have the board sitting on it. And now, in place of the IMC, yes, the IMC has gone, but in its place, what do we have? You have another illegality replacing the earlier illegality, for which the Senate and the National Assembly courageously and patriotically took the positions that you have taken. So while we are now presented with this situation, where now today the Senate is considering a budget to be implemented not by the IMC, which at least had 3 people. This budget we are now considering, if passed, is to be implemented by another unknown entity called a sole administrator. So instead of an IMC that has at least 3 people or more, you now have an illegal entity known as a sole administrator to manage this budget. So I want to thank Mr. President of the Senate and distinguished senators and the National Assembly as an institution for taking the principled and patriotic positions that you have had to take this year. We're all aware, even when we were watching from outside, we saw the steps and what you had to go through, the blackmail and everything. But I want to say that you did what was right, and we shouldn't run away from that. Having said that, we are now at a stage where we have to pass a bill, at least for the sake of the people. We have to pass a bill for the sake of the people. But I want to make some suggestions. Number one, there is no indication, Mr. President, as to the duration within which this sole administrator, unknown to the NDDC law, will act. Number two, and arising from number one, there is no indication as to how soon Mr. President will exercise his powers under the NDDC Act in making the recommendations. He has the power to appoint. There's no indication. And there's no indication also whether this budget that we are now being told to pass is the one that will be implemented by this sole administrator, unknown to the laws of this country, unknown to the NDDC Act itself specifically, and unknown to the Senate. And here we are made to consider this bill. When the Constitution says screen so people or an act of the National Assembly, whereas we need now at this stage in the interest of the people of the Niger Delta to consider and pass this budget, we need to add a caveat while doing so, that this budget, when passed, should not be implemented beyond the recurrent normal running expenses until the NDDC Act is complied with. So that you don't have a situation where we pass this budget and then one sole administrator, unknown to the laws, unknown to even the Senate, someone whose capacity you cannot assess because you have not screened him. It's not known. You can't hold him responsible now because it's not a creation of the laws of the country. But we must pass the budget. So I support that, Mr. President. But in doing so, let us add some caveats. Because the Senate has done well by delaying, at least the budget is there. The monies that may have gone the wrong way are still there. So let us pass it. But in doing so, it is my suggestion that we should add a caveat that the capital components of this budget we are now considering should not be implemented by this sole administrator. It should be done by the board properly constituted according to law. I so move.
Let me say that yes, it's true, the sole administrator is not known to law, just like the IMC, and we oppose the IMC to do anything with our committees here, especially when we indicted the IMC for embezzling 4.9 billion naira, so-called COVID relief. So we suspended any interaction with the IMC, and of course the IMC is out of the way now. So we are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. On one hand, and you have admitted that much, we have the people of the Niger Delta with all the challenges there of life. On another hand, we have a sole administrator who is unknown to the law. My opinion about this is, first, the people themselves at this point. And I don't think it will serve the people any good to say that we should not allow the implementation of the capital, because the capital is what goes to the people. The recurrent are things that the people in the headquarters and elsewhere, the civil servants, will just be using. So if we say there should be no implementation of the capital, then the people remain unattended to and unfairly treated, in my opinion. So I believe that we need to balance this. We pass the budget, and then we task our committee on NDDC to ensure that every kobo is properly, prudently, and economically applied. Secondly, we have been engaging with the executive arm of government for the nominations to be made for the governing board. We have been doing that. We'll continue to put in a lot of effort to ensure that within the shortest possible time, we get the nominations so that the NDDC Act will be properly and fully complied with. I think we have to approach it in this multi-pronged way so that the people don't lose because of the politics that is going on. But I want to assure you that we will not rest on our oars until we get the proper thing done. So I believe that this Senate has done the kind of thing it was supposed to do in the engagement with the NDDC throughout this period up to this time. So I'll go to the recommendations. In view of the foregoing, and we're on page 4 of 11 of the report. In view of the foregoing, the committee recommends as follows. 1, that the revenue profile for the Commission for the year 2020 is as follows. That is 12 billion. A, revenue brought forward, A, is 12 billion. B, federal government contribution, 63 billion, 506 million, 151,945 naira. C, federal government contribution, that is unpaid arrears by federal government, 0. D, all companies, contributions, and Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited, NLNG, and others, 317 billion, 493 million, 848,055 naira. E, ecological funds, 60 billion. F, other internally realized income, 200 million. Total revenue, 453 billion, 200 million. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. Recommendation 2. The committee considered increase in personnel costs and also considered the overheads and internal capital estimates, as well as the adjustments in the revenue profile of the Commission, and consequently recommends the following as expenditure profile. Personal expenditure, 27 billion, 389 million naira. Overhead expenditure, 13 billion, 937 million, 244,107 naira. Internal capital expenditure, 2 billion, 793 million, 755,893 naira. Development projects, 409 billion, 80 million naira. Total expenditure, 453 billion, 200 million. Those in favor that recommendation 2 be approved, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. And recommendation 3, that the lifespan of the 2020 NDDC budget will elapse on 31st March 2021. Those in favor of this recommendation, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. Let me re-emphasize here that our committee on Niger Delta should sit up and ensure that these funds are properly utilized. The committee has done a good job in the past. I'm sure that it will continue with that.
Have ruled, and I agree from what I said earlier too, that we need to consider the budget for the sake of the people, as you rightly said. What I'm rising to propose, Mr. President, is that this Senate at this point haven't now agreed to pass the budget, and if we pass it, can we take a motion to the effect that the President be called upon to constitute the board in accordance with the Act without further delay, and that this budget be passed for the sake of the development and the well-being and welfare of the people? Can we do?
We have already stated this and it's recorded. And I've said this, we have been engaging with the executive arm of government that the names, the nominees, the nominations into the governing board should be made. We have been making that point and we will continue to push until it is made. I think we are getting there. So even if we don't take any motion, I'm sure the explanations you have given and what we have been saying will go a long way in waking up everyone who who thinks that the one man, what do you call it, sole administrator should be there for a long time. I don't think the sole administrator should be there for any long period of time. But it's for us to ensure that between now and when that sole administrator will go, that the funds appropriated are properly utilized. It's not a good situation, but we just have to make the best use of where we find ourselves. Thank you. NDDC should be presented to us as quickly as possible because we want to streamline the implementation of all the budgets, whether it's for the MDS or for an agency like the NDDC, with the main budget of the country. That is starting from January 2021, budget implementation for that year should start. We believe that that makes a lot of sense and it helps the economy as well as the people. So we want to urge the executive to ensure that they present the budget for NDDC for 2021. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. With this, we have come to the end of processing the budget in the National Assembly. At least in the Senate, the House of Reps will do the same. The ball will now be shifted to the side of the executive arm of government. I'm sure that the efforts that we have made in the National Assembly and the efforts the executive too has put in ensuring that we work seamlessly to ensure that this is achieved will not be in vain. Civil servants who will be entrusted with the responsibility of implementing this, the budget, should also be up to speed with whatever it is expected of them to do, and that is ensuring that we have budget implementation that will be total for 2020 budget at the end of 31st of March, and by 31st of December 2021, the 2021 budget should have also been fully and completely implemented to the benefit of Nigerians. I believe that at one point in the first quarter of next year, there should be a supplementary budget as early as possible, probably by January when we return, to ensure that we capture the vaccine needs, the COVID-19 vaccine needs of all Nigerians, the over 200 million of us. This is a necessity. I believe that it's a matter of life and death, and we owe Nigerians that responsibility, that obligation to make provision for the purchase, for the transportation and the general logistics and dispensation of the vaccines to all Nigerians. And therefore, it is very, very important that together with the executive, we are able to deal with this. We'll be meeting with the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, the Federal Ministry of Health, the National Center for Disease Control, the National Public Health Development Agency, and other related agencies to discuss thoroughly how they intend to acquire the vaccines, the selection of the vaccines, the resources that will be needed for the purchase, the transportation of the vaccines to our country, the transportation across the country, the storage, and the general administration of how this will be administered to our citizens. This is something that is very, very intricate, very complicated, and requires commitment, because it's not enough to just get the vaccines to Nigeria, but to ensure that the vaccines remain valid and remain efficacious before they are exposed to the vagaries of our weather and some of the infrastructure that we lack. So it means we have to build the infrastructure for the logistics of transportation and storage across the country. And we will do that knowing fully well that it's an obligation on us to save the lives of our country men and women. So we expect that we'll have a supplementary budget to be presented by the executive as soon as possible. Equally important will be the issue and funding of the security agencies. We believe that the security agencies need a lot more resources if the revenues coming to the coffers of government, especially from the crude, which is our main source, continues to be above $45-50 per barrel, then we'll have no reason but to have supplementary budget for security agencies as well. So we should be prepared to at any time attend to this, because these are so fundamental. The vaccines for COVID-19, the security, the funding of security agencies, these are issues that have to deal with the security and the lives of our people. With this, I want to thank all of us once again and wish us a very Merry Christmas in advance and a very happy and prosperous New Year 2021. I believe that this National Assembly, particularly the Senate, has discharged its responsibilities creditably as far as working on the budget is concerned. It's part of our legislative agenda that we pass the budget before Christmas, and I want to congratulate all of us for this. Thank you, Leader of the Senate.
My highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion for this distinguished chamber to adjourn until Tuesday, 26 January 2021 at 10 a.m. prompt. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, congratulations on the passage of the 2021 budget. Indeed, it's been because of your dexterity to ensure that we go from January to December. So I'd like to congratulate all of us and congratulate you most especially, Mr. President. And to also, on behalf of the Minority Caucus, wish all of us a wonderful Christmas and a Happy New Year. On this note, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that this Senate do adjourn to January 26 at 10 a.m. prompt. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion moved by the Senate leader and seconded by the Minority leader that the Senate do adjourn till Tuesday, 26th day of January 2021 at 10 a.m. prompt, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is hereby adjourned till Tuesday, 26th January 2021 at 10 a.m. prompt.
This is where we'll draw the curtain on this edition of the program from the National Assembly. I am Ignatius Nkwo. Bye for now.